peddlers, hucksters, and hawkers. But is a push cart and somebody's selling from that, is that something that's allowed under this? And if it's allowed, where is it allowed and where is it not allowed?
It's allowed if you apply for a permit and it's reviewed and found acceptable and the permit is granted.
And who again reviews the permit?
Both my department, Community Sustainability, and Public Services, which regulates right-of-ways in the city.
Okay. And what are the criteria that would lead to approval or not approval of a permit?
That it had a permanent location, that it did not impede traffic, that it did not impede upon the Americans with Disability Act, it did not provide a barrier for or obstruction in the right-of-way on the sidewalk of the roadway, and it was able to get a business tax receipt for the conducting of the business that's associated with the little mobile cart or wagon or baby carriage or whatever else is being proposed to be used.
Can you say the first two again? Those are the ones that
What do you mean the first two?
of your criteria, if you remember.
Well, they have to be able to not impede traffic.
Yeah.
They have to have a permanent location where we know they're going to be, and they can't provide a barrier for the disabled or challenge to get on the sidewalk.
For instance, somebody who's got a push cart or pedal cart and moves around town selling ice cream
Nope,
can't do it, even if they apply for a permit.
they can do it, but they'll be in one location. If it's able to be approved, it'll be at corner X in the city.
I will voice the same concern that I had before, that I think there are a number of things, particularly obstructing sidewalks, that we've all had a concern about downtown, and I think we shared and we were appreciative of the difficulties of balancing wanting to have an outdoor experience of food and sitting and doing things, but we also don't want people to not be able to walk or people not be able to move a wheelchair or whatever. That I think this probably helps out with that. My concern that I stated the first time around and continue to feel is, it feels to me like we're painting a little bit with a broad brush, that there's some things that seem to be pretty harmless. I mean, I'm not quite sure what the harm of somebody pedaling a bicycle and selling ice cream. I mean, maybe it diminishes the appearance of our community, but it seems like a rather minor diminishment, and maybe somebody's going to come along and sell something more interesting than ice cream from a bicycle, or falafels, who knows what it is. But it seems to me we're coming down a little bit hard on economic diversity and imaginative economic diversity that's not really very harmful. So that's just my opinion. I don't know that even all my constituents agree with my opinion, but it's my opinion.
Commissioner Amoroso? Okay. Well, I know that there have been complaints, I'm sorry, Commissioner Zerni?
I appreciate your comments there, Commissioner, but I think this is trying to just be fair and even across the board for anybody that's in business. I'm in business in the city. I have to get business tax receipt, I have to get my license, I have to make sure that I follow all the rules and I have a permanent location. And I know there's different ranges of types of businesses, but to try to be fair, otherwise you create a range of things that's very difficult to have any control of. I think what we're saying here is find a spot that you think you might want to try to do business, make sure that it's safe, and we're looking at public health, welfare, and safety, and this is really the key here, that you're not going to be selling things that may not be sanitary or proper, but you get the right kind of licenses to do business and be an entrepreneur, so we're all for that. I just think this allows us to have a better understanding of exactly what's going on, and not it's just a free-for-all.
I agree with you, Commissioner Zerni. I mean, I grew up, there was a good humor guy who came around ringing his bell, and there was Mr. Softy at nighttime and whatever else. I mean, those are the nice days. Those people also obtain licenses and business licenses, whatever. There was a law that was put into place here in the city long before I was ever here. I could say, hey, I like the guy that comes up and down the street that plays that little song or whatever. I know a lot of people that disagree with me. They can't stand that song playing in their ears every 2 seconds at one particular time at night. But again, most of those businesses are at least permitted, you know, or at least go through safety standards in regards to what's being served or whatever. Vice Mayor, I saw you had a hand up, and then Commissioner McBoyd.
Again, I want to echo the sentiments of Commissioner Zerdy and yourself, Mayor. I don't know how many phone calls I've received over the last few years about, you know, Mr. Softy truck or whatever at 11 o'clock at night. And I didn't believe it. I said, who sells ice cream at 11 o'clock at night? And sure enough, I don't know how many nights I went out and found Mr. Softy ringing his bell and singing his song at 11 o'clock at night.
It wasn't Mr. Softy, it's
Or
another
whoever.
guy, but he's got a multitude
And
of
the other
songs.
thing is, you know, how many phone calls have I taken from folks selling food out of the back of a station wagon? You know, I have a food background, so I have an extra sensitivity to food safety and food sanitation. You know, and that's before we get into, you know, I don't want somebody pulling up in front of my house randomly, whenever they decide, and start, you know, selling things out of the back of their station wagon and drawing people from the neighborhood into my front yard. You know, these are just quality of life issues that I think we all deserve some consideration over. So if you want to sell out of your station wagon, that's fine. Go find a permanent place to park your vehicle. Go to the proper regulatory agencies and get your sanitation license and your health permits and, you know, get your own food safety card and do all the proper things, as Mr. Zerdy said. The rest of the businesses have to do. This is really what this is all about.
Enjoy the meat market.
We cannot have you know, a mobile, you know, free-for-all, people doing whatever they want to do, selling whatever they want to sell, whenever they want to sell it. It's just, it's not healthy, it's not sanitary, and you even mentioned yourself, diminishes, what was the term you used? If it diminishes the what? The appearance or something of the neighborhood? Well, why would we want to do anything that's going to diminish the appearance of any of our neighborhoods? We want to enhance the appearance of our neighborhoods. So this is all part and parcel of moving in that direction.
Commissioner McBoyd?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I guess my perspective is probably highly colored by having traveled in other parts of the world, including many of them so-called developing countries, and I guess, but it's also colored by traveling in various parts of the U.S. And some places seem to have very diverse, all sorts of things going on that people sell outside. I don't know whether they move their push carts or don't move them, but it seems to me the concern about ours is a perfectly legitimate one, that one could easily say, look, if you're going to sell stuff and move around, don't ring your darn bells or you play your tunes after 7 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, whatever time we decide, and, you know, get a business license. I have no problem with that, you know, get those things, but it seems like we're saying some of them, if you move around, you're dead in the water. And I guess my feeling is there's a certain liveliness to some communities that has a diversity of things going on. I think that's probably an asset to our community. I think there are probably some people who feel that. Maybe not very many, but I just feel a need to speak to that. I think we're, again, I have no problem with regulating either sound or hours or, you know, business licenses, some of those things, but it seems like we're closing the door on some things that, and I guess I would encourage us all, if we get some pushback and people have some interesting ideas, maybe we want to revisit it just a little bit in the future.
I would be happy to revisit it in regards to, like I said, ice cream trucks and all that stuff has already been outlawed and banned in the city. Like I said, long before I was here, that was already part of it because of, for whatever reason, so this is, you know, an extension of that. Commissioner Amoroso, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
I just wanted to make a real quick comment. We need to set standards, we need to set rules and regulations. For instance, this week I got calls, there was a mobile like ice cream vendor on a bicycle selling meat. And customers, and you know, is this legal? You know, one even said, should I buy the meat? It was a good deal. No, you shouldn't buy meat out of ice cream like on a bicycle, you know, common sense, but.
Shellfish,
You know,
also I see.
we need-
Electronics, I've
we
seen.
need to set a standard.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Thank you.